Hey guys, Angry Monkey here with another Retro Game Treasure unboxing video. So for those who are new to the channel and you're wondering what is Retro Game Treasure, this is a video game subscription service that is sent to your house every month that adds 3 to 5 games to your personal collection. This is not a rental service, you get to keep these games. And these games come on a variety of different consoles based on what you select for Retro Game Treasure to send you. You can go with some old school stuff like Atari 2600 or Intellivision. They got plenty of Nintendo stuff from the NES all the way up to the Wii, so NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii, as well as the portable stuff, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and even Nintendo 3DS. Plenty of Sega options with the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and Sega Dreamcast, not Saturn, and also don't expect any Sega CD or Dreamcast games. I've only gotten one of each of those. They're a little hard to come by and they're a little expensive, so don't expect those, but I figured I'd mention them because I have gotten them before and they're on the wish list on the website, or at least for me they are. You can also get PlayStation stuff for the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, plus the PSP, original Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. So yeah, there's a lot of games to get, a lot of games to choose from. If you want to go old school, you can. If you want to go a little bit more modern, you can. It's all up to you and the consoles that you have and what games for. Since I've got every console that RGT offers, well, I've got them all selected. Usually they go with some of the more modern stuff for me. I usually get a PS4 and an Xbox One, and sometimes, I don't know, a Game Boy Advance game or Super Famicom game or whatever. But yeah, this one feels pretty beefy. Like, it's actually bulging a little bit. This is pretty beefy, so I'm kind of excited to open this up. But before we do that, we need to go over a few important details, such as the wish list, where if there's a game that you're looking for, don't expect Earthbound, but if you just got a Super Nintendo and you want Super Mario World, that's a possibility to get in your box. Just put those on the wish list, and you might get that in your box. There's also the checklist feature, which is a great way to make sure you don't get duplicates, but you gotta make sure that you check all versions of said duplicate, because just because you have Star Wars Battlefront on PS2 doesn't mean that you won't get the greatest hits version on PS2, so make sure you check off that you have both versions. And I also recommend to go over to the original Xbox as well and check it off that you have it on that as well, unless you want it for both consoles. Some people do. I've got it on PS2. I'm happy with having it on PS2, so I don't need it on original Xbox. So that's just something that I've learned and have repeatedly learned of, oh, oops, I forgot to check that off. Also, make sure that you are on top of updating the stuff. If you go retro game shopping and you get a bunch of stuff, make sure that that you continue to update the list so that way they have the most updated version to, again, avoid getting those duplicates. So like I said, you can choose what consoles you get games for, and you can also choose the genre on the website. You can select the genre and only check what you like and don't check what you don't like. So if you're not big on sports games, like 99% of us out there, you won't get sports games unless you're like, hey, give me sports games, give me whatever, I'm cool with that. Most people aren't, so don't check off sports games. But you can also say that condition is important to you, that you would prefer like CIB or whatever, or like, hey, I'm new to collecting, just give me what you got. I don't care about the condition all that much. I just want to play some games. So they have all those as well. You can also select like styles of games, like if you like Disney games or Pokemon games or wrestling games. I don't know. There's a bunch of like sub-genres and subcategories there. You can also select if you have a Super Scope or the NES Zapper or stuff like that, or if you don't mind getting import games. A lot of different variations of boxes. Each box will be 100% unique to you based on how you want your box built. And like I said, they'll send it out to you and you'll get 3 to 5 games in your collection. I think I got everything out of the way that I wanted to mention, so let's go ahead and open this box up. Again, it feels pretty beefy. It's a little on the heavy side, so I'm excited about that. As always, we're going to have the box backwards, so that way we don't get spoilers of what our next game is. And first up, as always, mostly, we have our most important thing of the box, the Air Defender lights from DiscountAirPillows.com, where pillows are inflated, not prices. all three of these guys are very much inflated, doing a great job in protecting the contents of this box. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I feel 4 games. Wait. Yeah, okay. I got excited. I'm like, wait, is it 5 games? No, it's just 4 games. But first up, we have something pretty retro. We got an Intellivision game. Oh, B-17 Bomber. I'm sure you guys know that reference. This is for the Intellivision. This game's kind of interesting because there's a like a sound thing that you can clip onto the side of your Intellivision. I think that's how it works. That basically gives certain games sound, and that's how B-17 Bomber sounds when you boot that up. It's some weird electronic voice that sounds like that. Future me, put a clip of that.
Mattel Electronics presents B-17 Bomber.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I know I've heard of this game. I think I've played it once, maybe. But there's gameplay right there for just a few seconds. I'm going to stall for a few more seconds and ramble on for a couple seconds, so that way you can see on what kind of game it is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Intellivision that does that. So anyway, moving on to the next one. I'm guessing this is a PSP game. Called it. Ooh. Phantasy Star Portable 2. Okay. Okay, so this is also an import game. So I don't really know how I'd be able to play this on the channel, but it's still like a really great shape. So I'm going to need to learn how to play some of these import PSP games. But it's in great shape. Yeah. I've got PSO, or Phantasy Star Online PSO on GameCube. I know that it was originally on... Okay, it's older than I thought. I keep thinking of the Sega Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online, but I keep forgetting there are previous installments of the Phantasy Star series. In fact, dating all the way back to the Master System. That's pretty cool. But, yeah, Phantasy Star Portable 2. Like I said, it's in great shape. There's no way it came out in 1994. Maybe this is like a remake of one from 94? I don't know. The date's there, obviously. Okay, and yeah, I can already tell PS4 and Xbox One. Okay, I need to check something, because I got Red Out on PS4, and last month I got Red Out, so that's a little concerning. Yeah, I got the exact same game 2 months in a row. I guess that's a game that I forgot to check off, so like I said, make sure you check off that you have both versions. Otherwise, you'll get one on both consoles. One of these was rattling around. Well, I don't really know which one to keep. They're both sealed. It's a shame I got a... It's a shame I got this. Like I said, the 2 months in a row getting the same game just for a different console. Huh. Well, that happens, I guess. Okay, and I got one more game in here. I got Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Requires internet? Well, that kind of killed the momentum of this box if it requires internet. Well, so this is going to be a game that's going to be useless in a few years. Well, sometimes you have a good box, other times you have a little bit of a disappointing box, because like I said, this requires internet, which I don't have, and this is a game I got last month from the same service. And this one I can't really play right now. So I really only got one usable game out of this entire box this month. So like I said, this box is not that the games themselves are bad, because I mean, Phantasy Star is good, Redout is pretty fun, at least from the gameplay that I saw. B-17 Bomber's a classic, but it is a very old game. But yeah, this is one of my more disappointing boxes, I guess. Just a bunch of stuff I can't really play or already have. Well, this is, I guess, my my pick of the box, just out of default, really. Huh. Anyway, if this box interests you, this is a bad representation. If this is the first time you've seen one of these unboxing videos, you're like, man, that service is pretty bad. Check out some of my other unboxing videos. I've got a whole playlist of RetroGameTreasure unboxing videos. I've gotten some really good boxes in the past. This is just not one of them. But if it does interest you, this is talking about the Boss Chest giveaway, where you take a picture of your box, post it on social media. You're entered the Boss Chest giveaway, where you can get potentially win a game console, like a Sega Master System was one before, or a Sega Genesis was one, or a PS1 was one that was previous Boss Chest giveaway winning items. So you can get a game console, and then through RGT get games for that console. So that's pretty cool. If this does interest you, and if you're like, oh dude, I love these games, hey, that's awesome. And you can use my reference code, and if I refer 3 people, I get a free box, which is pretty cool. Never had that happen. Just throwing that out there if you guys want to throw a little support my way. If not, that's fine, but I just figured I'd throw that out there just in case. Yeah, okay, so that is it for this section of the video, but stick around because June was a pretty big pickup month. I didn't get a lot of items in May, more than I probably should have, but it was still a lighter month in May. But June was definitely on the heavier side of things, with even a couple boxes to unbox with you guys on the channel. So if you enjoy mystery boxes, I guess if you want to call it a mystery box, I kind of know what I got, but you guys don't, and it's a surprise on what I pull out of that box. So if you want to see some more unboxings, stick around the next couple seconds. I'll show off some more pickups and a couple more boxes to unbox, and got some good stuff, so I'm excited to share that with you guys, excited to show that off. Alright, let's get to it. So I went to a retro game store and picked up a few more games. So first up I got Tetris 2, which is really interesting because it's different from Tetris 1. So unlike Tetris 1, it's kind of like a mix of Tetris and Dr. Mario, where you have a bunch of blocks throughout, kind of like the germs in Dr. Mario, and you gotta land like 3 in a row or something to make each color disappear. But so it's kind of like the germs of Dr. Mario, but it's also Tetris blocks at the same time. It's different, but I don't know. I was excited to pick that up. It's very colorful too. Another NES game that I picked up was Shadowgate, which it's a point-and-click adventure. It kind of reminds me of Maniac Mansion, kinda, but instead of focusing on humor, it's, I guess, more horror aspects. I mean, like exploring dungeons, but it's still a point-and-click adventure. I don't know, you gotta click on this to grab the torch, click on that to pick up a sword, I don't know, stuff like that. But I remember, I think it was the Gaming Historian did a Halloween episode or something on Shadowgate. I thought it looked interesting, so I wanted to pick that up. I wanted to look for it, and I found it, and I'm like, I know this is a game I'm looking for, and I don't remember why I'm looking for it, but the point-and-click adventure game was what I was expecting when I bought it, so I was at least thinking of the right game. just I don't really know what to expect of it because I kind of discovered that game a couple years ago, and I don't remember why I wanted it. I just know I wanted it, if that makes sense. I've been told by a number of people that Beetle Adventure Racing is a fun racing game, so I decided to go ahead and pick that up. Uh, it's a semi-realistic looking racing game. I mean, for 64 standards. But you can also get power-ups. Like I saw in the some gameplay footage of a car getting to an item box, and it gave him a speed boost. So that's kind of cool. So I'm not expecting it to be crazy like Mario Kart or anything like that, but it looks like there's more to it than a standard racing game. I don't know. It did look fun though. Got Dragon Ball Z Sagas on the original Xbox, which I was expecting a fighting game, but it looked like a it kind of looked like a 3D adventure type of game. I don't know, like running around beating up enemies. I'm sure when you get to the major fights, like with Vegeta and all those, that it'll probably become like a fighting game. Interesting thing here is this is early in the Xbox Live. Oh wow, really? It says 2005. So why does it only go up to sell? Because I think Dragon Ball Z finished in America in 2003. So you would expect that it would have Boo stuff in there, but it only goes up to sell apparently. Interesting. Missing the manual, unfortunately, but I can't imagine this being an expensive manual to get. Last game I got there was Blinks the Time Sweeper, which this one is complete. It's got the manual. This one looked interesting. You have some time controls where you can slow-mo and pause enemies and rewind to restore your world. Fast forward. I think you have to collect like pause buttons and rewind buttons a certain amount to actually like activate that power. But I love time related stuff, and so a game where you can like, I don't know, fast forward and pause and rewind is a really neat concept. So I was pretty excited to pick that up. It's also only on Xbox. There is a sequel, by the way. Some of you guys didn't know there was a sequel, but there is a sequel, which I'm hoping I can pick that up pretty soon. A couple other video game related items, but not a video game itself, was this Nintendo 64 manual. So, I mean, it's just telling you troubleshooting and how to insert your game, how to play the controller, all that stuff. But, I mean, obviously this would be from 1996 when the 64 was new. Well, I mean, I guess it could be anywhere between 96 and 01, but I can't imagine the manual changed all that much between 96 and 01. So, I mean, it looks pretty old, too. So, I mean, it has a 96 date on it. So, I'm going to assume that it probably is 96, 97, maybe 98. I don't think it would be in the later part of the 64's life. I don't know, just something about it just feels like older to me. And anyway, the last item that I got was a really cool Super Nintendo era poster. So it's advertising, I guess, some of the earlier games, but not launch title games for the Super Nintendo. Advertising Super Tennis, Pilot Wings, F-Zero, Super Play Action Football, Sim City, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Very cool stuff there. Okay, this poster says 1991, by the way, which is weird because Link to the Past came out in 92. So I guess this, well, I guess this could have been late 91, advertising some games that were coming out. But it was still a really cool poster, and it is double-sided, advertising Nintendo Power on the back. That's interesting, because I know that's an NES game. These are both NES games, obviously. So this is like that interesting transition of NES to Super. Because I think that Batman game was, what, 90 or 91, and Mario was 89 or 90. Anyway, yeah, just some really neat stuff here. Some cool video game history related stuff there as well. Just I geek out over this type of stuff. I mean, this stuff's cool too, but I geek out over this. But that's just me. Anyway, that is it for this little section. I'm sure there's going to be more video game stuff, but I wanted to go ahead and record this little section. Yeah. Alright, so I got this box from Joe Schmmo, a box of NES games, a couple Super Nintendo games, and this just arrived today. I figured, hey, let's go ahead and unbox this together. So, got our knife, and have to do this upside down because the addresses are there. Okay, so let's see what games Joe got me. So first up is Pinball on the NES, which so I saw this game and I'm like, oh well, it's one of the black box labels, but the day after Joe sent me this, or yeah, Joe sent me this like the day after. Let's rephrase that again. I'm tired. The day after I went to a retro video game store and played some pinball machines, Joe's like, hey, here's some games I want to sell, one of them being pinball, and I'm like, you know what? Pinball sounds really fun right now, so, obviously this doesn't compare to a real pinball game, but, I wanted to get that. Next up, we got Deadly Towers. I thought I told him I was not interested in this game anymore, but oh well. So yeah, I if this is the game I'm thinking of, this game is like stupid hard for no reason, and that's why I'm like, maybe I don't want that game. But I got it anyway, I guess, but oh well. All I know is the AVGN did an episode on it, and I watched that review. And I'm like, oh, it's that game. Oh, no, never mind. But it's in my collection, so oh well. And then here is the Secret Scroll Flying Dragon. It's kind of a beat 'em up fighting game. Like this is basically like a fighting game before fighting games were a thing, so they were still kind of a beat 'em up game. So I don't really know what else to say about this game, but just I mean, probably hard to play, but a simple game, I guess is the best way to put it. Yoshi's Cookie, which is, I think it's like a Tetris clone, but it's it's got the Yoshi name on it, and it's a game that I surprisingly never had in my collection, so I had to get it. So there we go. I got that. And then High Speed, World's #1 Pinball. So this is basically like that game, but like 10 times better. Like this one's actually like it was pretty interesting. Like the graphics were good, and the just the physics were good. Like it was just a very well done pinball game, at least from what I saw, like in descriptions and gameplay footage and stuff. And then got a couple Super Nintendo games here. First is Metal Combat. which is a game that uses the Super Scope, which I think the only other game I have... I've got 2 games for the Super Scope. I've got Super Scope 6, which I got with my Super Scope, and RetroGameTreasure, I think, gave me a Super Scope game, but this is another game that will use it, so now I have 3 reasons to use my Super Scope that I've not ever used once. I can't even verify that works, but I'm assuming it does, but... I mean, I got it for $20 with the Super Scope 6 game, so if it doesn't work, I didn't lose a lot of money there. But anyway, yeah, got Metal Combat, and this is probably like the heavy hitter out of the box. It's kind of dirty, kind of like sun faded or whatever. I don't know, it's starting to turn yellow a little bit. Other than that, it's in pretty good shape. So I think if I were to just swap out the back, I could have a pretty clean cartridge here of Wizardry 6, Heart of the Maelstrom, which is, I think it's an RPG? I don't know. Right here is the gameplay, obviously, and it'll tell you what game it is. I think it's an RPG. I can't remember right now, but I think that's the reason why I bought it, because it's a Super Nintendo RPG. It's a cheap one, though, but... yeah, and, yeah, that's it. So, thank you, Joe Schmmo. I got, 7 games for my collection, on top of everything else that you have seen in this video, and will see in this video, because, I got another thing I want to show off. And I'm in the middle of, talking to Viro about, potentially getting another box of games. June's becoming an expensive month just because people are like, hey, I got some games. I'm like, I'll buy them. So, June might be an expensive month, and I am, like, completely out of shelf space. And I'm terrified of that. Alright. This section of the video is done. Let's move on to the next section. Okay. We have another box to open. I mentioned in the Joe Schmo section that I was talking to Viro about some stuff. We settled on a trade. I had some anime that he was interested in, and he had some games that I was interested in. And so basically, all we had to do was basically pay to ship out our own box. So he probably paid like $10 or $11 to get a bunch of anime. I paid like $6 to get a bunch of games. So let's get into it and see what we got. And I think the label is just out of frame, so that's cool. The issues with having a dull knife is sometimes it can't even cut through tape. That's nice. Okay. So what did we get? First up, we got... Okay, I actually wasn't expecting him to send me this. So he got this, like a duplicate or something. He's like, hey, since we're doing a bunch of NES games, would you be interested in a USB NES controller, which would be great for our three-way stop stuff? And I kind of forgot about this. I was using a PS4 controller for a lot of those games, but this feels pretty close. I mean, it's the same size as an actual NES controller. I mean, you can feel the A and B on the A-B buttons, but aside from that, it feels pretty much like an actual NES controller. Because here's a legit one, and here's a USB one, and yeah, it feels a little different. Like the authentic one has the little arrows there. This one doesn't. It doesn't have the Nintendo name there, but I mean overall, it looks like a real NES controller. So that's a cool thing that I actually wasn't expecting. I mean, I kind of know what everything is. I've forgotten what I got from him, but that was an actual complete surprise. And got a random power cable. Okay. I don't know what that's for. Okay. I guess we'll go through this thing first. Yeah, I got some anime from him too, because there were a couple series I had heard of and just never saw, never watched. But we got Heroic Age. This is season. Well, okay, I guess you can just say complete series part 1. Yeah, we got that. So that's the first 13 episodes, and then this is complete series part 2 with the next 13 episodes. Okay. And then we also got Casher and Sins, which is another series that I'd heard of. I know it's older, like mid-2000s or something. I don't know anything about these shows. They're just shows that I've heard of. But that's what the DVDs look like. So, yeah, this is the first 12 episodes. And then this would be 13 through 24. So everything else is video games, but I did get a couple anime series from them as well, which I gotta let Box know, so that way I don't get these in a future box. Okay, and that's all just bubble wrap. Okay. So I'll just pull these out one at a time. So we got Windback Covert Operations, which there was a Windback game on the 64. So this, and I guess it must have been on the original PlayStation as well. I just seem to have discovered it first on 64. I don't have it yet, but this is the sequel to it. It's complete. I believe most or all of these would be complete. But it's like a... I think it's a first person. It's like a third person shooter. Maybe. It looks like a third person shooter, but it's still almost like a 007 type game, but third person. You can see the footage right there. It's either proving me right or proving me wrong, or proving me close. One of those three. We got the Activision Anthology. So Viro actually talked about this in his 5 games that are under $10 that he recommends. And I've got a lot of these games, well, some of these games actually on an Atari 2600 cartridge, but there's a few that I don't have. And there's a few that are also not included in the Atari Collection Volume 1 or 2 that I have on PS4. So this actually has a few games that I don't have otherwise. So that's pretty cool. So this is basically all the 2600 games that were made by Activision. So there's a lot of those. So anyway, I got that. We got Rayman Arena, and again, it's complete. Mostly because I have a couple Rayman games. I don't have this one. So it's like a collection of different... I don't want to say it's a party game, because it sounds like a Mario Party, and it's not Mario Party. But race and battle, 2 modes of gameplay, offer up a variety of ways to defeat your opponent and reign supreme. So, yeah, it looks like you can race in the game and, I don't know, do like some kind of multiplayer fighting, beat 'em up kind of thing. So sounds like there's a few different game modes, which is always fun. It kind of makes me think of like Monkey Ball in a way, in that regard, where you have the monkey race, monkey fight, monkey target, which is like the flying one. Yeah, and then you have like the billiards and all that stuff too. So I'm imagining it's going to be kind of like that, where you just have a bunch of different game modes, where you just, I don't know, do what you want, like as far as if you want to do the racing mode or the fighting mode or whatever. I'm assuming that's what it is. We got Power Drome, which is a futuristic racing kind of game. Never heard of this, but sounded like it could be fun. It popped out of the case. There we go. Now the instructions here feel really weird. Like, this might not be... I mean, is this actually what a PS2 case... Because it looks different. Normally a PS2 case has like a memory card slot. Yeah, it would look like this normally. Even the manual feels weird. But it doesn't feel bootleg either, I don't think. It feels weird. It feels thin. Like the paper is actually thicker than I'm expecting, and it's not as glossy as it normally is. I don't know why. I mean, it's 2004, so it's not like it's at the very beginning or the very end of the PS2 life. This is like smack dab in the middle. So I don't know. We got Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, which I've got one of the Naruto Ninja Storm games. I don't think I have this one, though. If I do, well, I'm not worried about it. At least it's free. Oh. I actually do have this one. Well, this one's a duplicate, but, oh well. I didn't pay much for it. I'll just put this in a trade stack. Didn't know I had it. Actually, I can compare stuff. Looks like there's like a little bite mark or something on this, so I can piece together and see on which version is better, I guess. I didn't know that was the one I had. And then Ninja Storm 2 as well. So yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games plus anime. Oh, and then we got some Switch games as well. So this was the one I wasn't really sure of. At first I'm like, yeah, I'll take this because I'd never heard of it. But I actually don't really know what it is, but it's kind of got a unique art style on it. Oni Road to be the mightiest Oni. Break your enemy's soul to reclaim your pride. I mean, it's kind of like cartoony type graphics. It's kind of cool. It might be good, it might not be. I don't know. Gameplay here is answering my question, I guess. Then I got Loop 8, which I heard of this game. I had it on my wish list once. I almost got it off of Amazon when Amazon was having a sale, and it sounded cool. It's I can't remember if it's a visual novel or an RPG or both, but the story sounded cool, where it's like a time loop. However, there are complaints about how it does get repetitive, and if you fail to do something in the time limit, you gotta start like that whole section over, or start the whole game over, or something like that. So it can get really repetitive at points, and you can't like fast forward through the dialogue, because even though you've seen it, your character hasn't seen it, or I don't know. But I love the idea of time loops and time related stuff, as I've mentioned before. So I'm interested. We'll just have to see how it goes. And the last game that we got from Viro was Norn 9, which explore history that never existed. Sorata, a child prodigy, wanders away from his class field trip and awakens in a new but oddly familiar setting. He is taken to the Norn, a massive floating airship. Aboard, he meets others, young people known as Espers, each with unique powers to control elements or human minds. The land below them resembles the past, but everything has changed, and under the control of a massive organization known as the World, unravel the mystery surrounding Sarada's journey and his companions. Sounds interesting. So, yeah, this was a stack of games that was either a duplicate for Viro or games that he got that he wasn't interested in. I'm like, well, they sound interesting to me, so I figure, why not? Hopefully, I would enjoy them. Hopefully, I can actually play them on the channel. That'd be great. I haven't been able to put a lot of content on the channel lately outside of unboxing videos and stuff like that. I haven't actually done any Let's Play stuff for a little bit, and I'm so close to finishing up Coliseum, but yeah, anyway, so that's what I got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, plus a controller, plus a power cable, randomly. And then 2 anime series. So thank you, Viro. This was some good stuff here. I'm excited, and hopefully you enjoy the content of your box too. And I guess we'll... Oh, I'm not done yet. I've got 2 more games I want to show off. I don't know the order of things, if the con video is coming up first or if this video is coming up first, but I got 2 games from Anime Ohio that I went to. So I picked up Dragon Quest VI on the Super Famicom, and thanks to the Retron 5, I'm sure there's a translation patch that I can play this game in English, which I don't think the game was ever released in English. I don't know. Viro's the expert on Dragon Quest stuff. So either future me has the question answered, or Viro's watching and will comment on that, and then we'll know. Just look in the comments or look on screen, whichever future me goes with. And the other game that I got was Yu Hakusho. I don't know what the rest of it is. It's number 2, but it's a fighting game. I'm assuming probably the tournament arc, because that's what you would expect for a Yu Yu Hakusho game, would be like a fighting game based around the Dark Tournament arc, because that's like the iconic arc from the show. So anyway, that was 2 more games that I wanted to show off in this section of the video. And I know of 1 more. I'm hoping that what you're seeing is what I'm tagging on at the end of the video. If not, then I guess you'll have something else, and then my final thing. But anyway, that is the end of this section. Okay. So normally I like to go in the order of like when I got things, from like this is what I got first and this is what I got towards the end of the month. I'm intentionally keeping this at the end of the video because it's kind of the big item, I guess, the heavy hitter item of my pickups this month. And so you guys are probably wondering, well, gee, what did you get? What is this big ticket item here? Was Pokemon Box on the Japanese GameCube. Just look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Like, you got like the foil, like the entire front, the entire back. It's all beautiful foil. I saw this at a convention and I thought, I gotta get that. And by the time I came back, somebody else already bought it. The English version, the American version, is somewhere between $1,700 and $2,000. The Japanese version runs for about $40 or $50. So, like, it's a massive difference. I'm talking like an $8 billion difference. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it is that huge of a difference. I'm talking about like $1,700 versus $40, $50. And you guys, those who play Pokemon, and well, Pokemon Bank is still a thing. You'll recognize her. I forget her name, but she's kind of the girl that's in charge of the bank system for Pokemon Bank. And well, as you see, she got her start in Pokemon Box. Now, it's complete. It's an amazing shape. I mean, like, that's in great shape. It's got the manual, of course. I mean, yeah, you can't read it because it's all in Japanese. But it's there. And the disc is like spotless. And a separate purchase, but I got the Ruby and Sapphire memory card. So you have like the Sapphire there, you got the Ruby there. It's beautiful. It's just everything about this is beautiful. So for those who are wondering, like, what is this? It's basically just Pokemon Bank. Yeah, more or less. It's basically Gen 3 Pokemon Bank. So I think it says on the back, yeah, like 1,500. So you can store 1,500 Pokemon in a Pokemon box, and it's compatible with all the Gen 3 games: Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and I don't know how, but I guess you can just trade the Pokemon from Coliseum or XD Gale Darkness to one of the main series Pokemon games to then put on Pokemon Box. And you can have basically every Pokemon. In fact, you can have, I'm not going to do the math, but 1,500 Pokemon, and there was only 386. So yeah, you can have like a complete living dex like 4 times, and then some. So yeah, you can have like a complete living dex, and then like a complete shiny living dex, or something like that. I don't know. But I remember discovering this game when I got Pokemon Coliseum back in 2004, and I'm like, what's this Pokemon box? That sounds cool. I want it, even if it is just a storage system. I want it. It's a Pokemon thing. And I think that was only sold in the Pokemon Center store in New York City back in the day, which is now the Nintendo store. And so it was pretty much only sold there and maybe like LA or something. So the game was like stupid hard to find. Like it was impossible to find, really. And that's why that game is almost $2,000 in price. But if all it is just storing Pokemon on there, I'll just get the Japanese version. And plus, I mostly got it because the artwork, like I said, like just it's beautiful. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, that's my big ticket item at the end of the video. If you enjoyed everything that you saw, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell for more video game goodness like this, more unboxing videos, more Let's Play stuff, three-way stop, all that great stuff. Don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram. And I might have to make a thing about this because look at it, it's beautiful. But most importantly, I have a Discord where you can join me, where we talk about, well, all the stuff that you saw in this video. Video games, and there might be some anime stuff, I don't know. But we talk about anime too. And talking about nostalgia and, well, Pokemon, obviously. And we post memes. It's just a great community. It's a small community, but it's a great community where we have a lot of fun. Have fun, hang out, nerd out, as I always say. So, yeah, I guess I'll end this video here, but thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.